a marriage Enneagram assessment that's going to be launching soon.
Yep.
And we have an Enneagram mini course that we're also going to be putting out. And we just have a lot of exciting things coming up. And so definitely go to our website, sign up for our newsletter, because that's also launching. And we also, again, we have our 2026 worksheet as a free resource. We have our blogs. You guys,
come on.
If you don't have a good marriage by the end of 2026, it's because you haven't been listening and you haven't been doing all the resources that we're.
That's good.
All right, here we're back in the studio. We're back here again. It's January. It's 2026. We are in the throes of the year.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the year so far?
I think it's a great start, actually. Holidays were decent for us, and we got through the holidays, which is great. And there is something nice about just being fresh into January. I always take that break at the end of the holidays from work, and I got to take a longer break than you did, but
of course,
but it always feels good to get back going again. We got the holiday decorations down. Everything's kind of back to normal. Well, the new normal, the 2026 normal.
Yeah.
And so, feeling good so far. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So typically the start of January, everyone's really focused on like their New Year's resolutions, like all of their like new habits or new year, new me kind of things, which I personally love. We talked in our last episode about just like, the restart and like doing your marriage meetings and kind of like setting your goals and that kind of stuff.
Great episode.
Yeah. And so again, we want to remind our listeners, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it, and then go to our website and download the worksheet on the marriage meeting and the New Year.
Great resource.
New Year worksheets.
Yep.
Because it's a great resource. We've heard a lot of great feedback from everyone about them. So love that.
Yeah.
But this episode, we're going to be talking about health, because I think that once the new year starts, everyone starts like, resetting their new health goals and like, what are they going to do health wise? And health is a really huge thing. And I think that we severely underestimate how it impacts our marriage, because if we aren't feeling good, we're not going to be able to show up the way that we want to within marriage.
Absolutely.
So like, do you have any like health goals for 2026?
Well, I mean, if we go back to, so we love skiing, and we've just recently got back into it.
Yes.
And this is kind of, I'm stealing your, I'm stealing your
this.
anchor.
I'm so glad that you're bringing this up.
Because, we went skiing recently, and as we're kind of going down the slopes, the people that are flying right by us are like 70, 80 years old, it seems. And easily. I don't think we're exaggerating that. I mean, they were at least late 60s, early 70s, I would say.
And let's clarify. So we're there on a ski trip, but we always do skiing. Well, for the last 2 years, we've gone skiing for my birthday, because on your birthday, you get to ski for free.
Yeah.
And so it's also kind of like in our minds of like, we're getting older, those types of things.
Absolutely.
And so as this 80-year-old is like just flying by us, it's like we're all of a sudden going, oh my gosh, how many years left do we have of skiing?
No, absolutely. And I think it really resonated with you, especially like with your dad, because you always went skiing with your dad. You and your dad always went skiing.
I've been skiing since I was like 3 years old.
Oh.
And the last time I went skiing with my dad, it was a very drastic decline in his physical ability to ski. Because I think we went skiing probably 5 years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It was pre-COVID. And gosh, isn't that so weird? Like
that's a marker.
And that was and that had to have been like 6, 7 years ago.
Must have.
But what was so shocking was that it's like we only made it to maybe I think 3 runs with my dad because he was just exhausted. And so we started talking about how many years do we have left of skiing? And the new goal is we want to be able to ski into like our late 70s.
Absolutely. And I think we can. And so that started, but you've always been health focused.
Yeah.
That's one of your passions that you're always in. So this isn't really a change for you necessarily, especially going into the new year. You're the goal lady. You got your goal book. What's it called? Your book.
Cultivate what matters.
Okay.
The best goal organizer in the entire world.
Yeah, I'm a screen guy, not a paper guy. But
Have you written down your goals
I mean,
on a screen, like on your phone?
listen, we're not talking about me right now.
Well, no, because you brought that up. Like, did you write them down?
Not yet.
No. Okay.
Yeah, okay. But listen, what? Now I'm lost. I have no idea where I'm going.
Skiing,
No,
growing
so
older.
it was all. This is easy. So health has always been a focus for you.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't anything that really comes out of sideways for you. What changed a little bit is I'm kind of getting on board with the fact, like, man, I want to make sure that we're able to do these things longer into life than we see around us. And that's just the physical side, right? I mean, we're just talking about, when you talk about health, it's generally what you're talking about is your physical health, and just kind of how your body works and stuff like that. But it's so much broader than that. And when you bring it into the context of marriage, I think the idea is your relationship is affected so much more by your overall health than, like you said before, than people really give it credit for. And
yeah. And I think that that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. We're not just talking physical health. We're going to be talking about, emotional health and spiritual health. And with those three things, like going holistically together, I think, again, it's just going to create a really good, like, holistic approach to marriage, because when we feel good, we're showing up for our marriage. When we're thinking good and our thoughts are like in right order, we're showing up for our marriage. And when our spiritual life is in unison with the Creator, then it's like we're also showing up more for our marriage. And so it's like, I think that it's like we can't talk about health without talking about like the holistic approach to health, because it just makes us show up more wholly to our marriage and in those ways. And so I think that the biggest thing I want to like kind of start talking about is when we're showing up for like our marriage, like in a physical sense, it's like, I think that there's like, this is so multifaceted, because I think a lot of the times, and I'm going to speak from my own experiences, when I'm not feeling well in my body, or like when I've like put on more weight or whatnot, it's like our sexual life like really does decline because I'm not feeling like myself and I'm not feeling confident. And so it's like, I begin to show up in a way more, I almost want to say like I'm almost more like in a shell. Like I go inward.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's like I'm not as like open and transparent with you. And it's like it puts a wedge within our relationship when I'm not feeling secure in my physical body.
And it also shuts down is it shuts down availability, right? It shuts down that the environment that you would be available for relational things, not only intimate, but it does kind of shut down our ability to communicate in some ways.
It causes like disconnection within
absolutely.
us. Yeah.
And when we don't understand what that impact is, because a marriage is only as healthy as the people that are in it. And so you go from a physical aspect. If you're just not taking care of yourself, how can you show up? Your words that you anchor your life and show up. How can you show up for not only yourself? If you're not showing up for yourself, you know how long and far away showing up for your marriage is? Yeah. I mean, you can try, of course. Maybe you try to show up for your marriage, but you don't for yourself. Sure, there are aspects of that, but we're not talking bodybuilding. We're not talking
not at all.
We're simply talking about keeping the muscles happening. I was talking to a friend yesterday. We went out with them recently or yesterday, And he was talking about how even now in his, early mid 40s, not doing some kind of strength training, your
Yeah.
body starts to break down your muscle because you're not using it. Especially us, we're office people, but just taking little steps to be able to strengthen yourself allows there to be a confidence that then makes you feel better about yourself, which then allows you margin to be able to be present maybe in the relationship.
Because I think also when we're talking about the physical health, it's like if we're not taking care of ourselves and if we're, overeating, over drinking, putting too much sugar in our bodies, it's like that's also putting stress on our bodies to where it's like we're going to be showing up in more irritability, more stress,
Oh, yeah.
more, you know, it's like we show up in the ick and it's like that ick is going to spill over. And I think that it's like we're not as emotionally available as we should be, because it's like there's so many things going on with our physical body that it's like a lot of the times we're unaware of. And as we get older, it's like we have to start thinking of longevity. We have to start thinking about, unfortunately disease and as our body begins to break down, it's like how are we using our body? How are we best fueling ourselves to be able to show up for ourselves, for our kids, for our grandkids, in longevity? It's like we're not talking about like you said being bodybuilders, we're talking about longevity and how can we show up instead of having to overcome all the hurdles of discontentment, stress, irritability, brain fog, all of those types of things. But how can we show up without having to jump over all of those hurdles?
Yeah. See, it's such an important, this is not a discussion for another day. It's that important.
Yeah.
It's that important that, you think of it also from a faith perspective. The Bible talks about our bodies, one being whole, right? Being whole in body, soul, spirit. But it also talks about the principle of stewardship. You are stewarding your body.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
This is not necessarily all about you being selfish in wanting to be a particular person. Yes, you can have those aspirations. That's fine. But taking care of your body in the sense of stewardship is being faithful, not selfish. This is. I remember when we did Weight Watchers for a bit, and one of the things that Weight Watchers wanted you to do in the beginning was almost like to give your why, and it took me a second to get there. I'm like, well, because I want to lose weight, But why is it that you want to do it? And I remember what I said. I said that I wanted to be able to do the things that God called me to do as long and as best as I can. And the way that I can do that is by taking care of this body and doing it in such a way. We're not talking strict regulation. What we're talking about is moderation and some other word that'll sound great in this moment. But it's really just always having at top of mind how I'm taking care of my physical body going to help me with longevity and being present and because we know literally we know people that it's so hard for them to just get around, and it's not because of disease and illness and stuff like that. That's different. That's kind of a different animal.
Yeah.
I'm talking just living your life like normal. And you get older, your body's breaking down. That's a reality, but you can help certain parts of your body to stay strong so that it either doesn't get worse and you feel better about yourself and you can show up.
Yeah. I think that it's like just being able to lean onto that whole moderation and
Yes.
the consistency aspect.
Oh, yeah.
It's like just pick a couple things, like make sure that you're sleeping well, make sure that you're getting your water, making sure that you're staying hydrated, eating as close to whole foods as you can. It's like, it doesn't need to be like, I need to eat 900 calories a day and work out 8 times a week in the gym. It's like, we're not talking about like being so restrictive that now it's like, now that's your new stress.
That's your new thing. Yeah.
Right. It's just like, just get outside, get outdoors, like go sit in the sun, like do the things that like fill you and fuel you so that you feel the best, because we're talking more about feeling your best and optimizing your health to be able to show up and be more present in your marriage. I think that's the health like aspect that we're really pushing. We're not pushing fad diets. We're not pushing, go get on a GLP-1, like lose 800 pounds. Like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about, let's do the things that allow you to feel the best so that you can show up the best.
Because the result will be, sure, you're going to lose weight. Yes, you're going to do this. If your goal is to just be better for you so that you can be the best version of you, then the weight will fall off because you're making better decisions. I love the statement that you made. Eat as whole as you can. Like, so you make progress. Don't be perfect, right? We say that all the time.
Progress, not perfection.
It's exactly right. Like, make a better decision, right? Maybe you take the bun off. Maybe you but maybe you do this, or maybe you cut out one meal that's like that. And then, so incremental steps to health are very, very good. And I also want to speak to the fact that because I've had this, we've had this in our relationship, more so me than you. The idea that a physical health conversation in your marriage could feel a bit awkward if it's not clear that you're both on the same page, right?
Define that a little bit more.
So,
give an example.
So there's been times in our relationship where you have pointed out things like maybe going to McDonald's all the time is not a great idea. Like I remember, every morning when I drove out to work, I would always stop and get something bad. But it filled an emotional thing in me. It made me feel comfortable and kind of stuff like that. Or drinking too much, that can be a reality. And so when your spouse, you have said to me before, and you've pointed out some of these things, and it was uncomfortable for me, mainly because it was true, right? And I just, you're pointing out something like that. But I just want to make I want to bring that into the open, that is a reality, that those conversations could be difficult. Does it mean you avoid them? It means that you take a particular approach to health, which you've done several times. Your example speaks loudly to me, right? Not you're pointing out like you need to do this, this, and this, because that's usually not helpful. But what's helpful is the choices that you make, the results that you get, speak to me.
It encourages you.
Yes, without discouraging me. Like,
yes.
Wow, see, that was a good choice. I guess I could do that. So I just wanted to point out for couples that is true. It will be awkward, get it. But there could be a strategy that you can operate in and have a conversation, or don't just leave a book out. Just put it by the side table, eat better, kind of whatever. But making your own decisions for you, and you just, bringing that up could begin the conversation with your spouse.
And I think too, one of the things that we talk about a lot on this podcast is open communication,
yes,
building that trust and that safety in conversations. But then also, like, you can't change your spouse. You can only change you. So,
not even a little bit. Like, not even a little bit. Can you change your spouse?
Right.
It's just...
It's like I've tried, like, early on in our marriage, I would do, like, the whole manipulation thing. Like, I would try to, like, be passive aggressive.
I'm good at that.
All of those things, they don't work. And all it does is it creates a deeper divide and a wedge in your relationship that is unnecessary. And so it's like, just do the best for you And it's like, and show up the best that you can in these areas.
Yeah.
Progress over perfection. We're not talking about like overhauling your entire life. We're just talking about like make a couple choices and move closer to that. I think sleep is underrated. I think, just eating as close to whole foods as you can, I think is underrated. It's like if you did those two things and slept and ate as close to whole foods, I think progress is so much
Huge.
closer to you
Huge.
than you would ever even imagine. I was even
throw a walk in. I mean, throw a walk in.
Honestly, get outside.
End your street and come back. I mean,
and it's just one of those things that it's like, I think I saw this reel the other day on social media, and what it was is it said, just start today and don't give up because you don't know where you're going to be 7 months from now. And what it was is it was a woman who was severely obese, and she was doing the leg press machine at a gym, and it was her day one. And then it fast forward to 7 months later, and the text was the steady progress of losing 1 to 2 pounds a week got her to this point. And all of a sudden, it's like she was at a healthy weight and she was super strong and muscular. And it was just because she was losing 1 to 2 pounds a week, and she just didn't give up. And I think that sometimes we want the end result, but we're not willing to show up in the middle. And that's where it's like we just don't give up and just be slow and steady, because slow and steady wins the race. And I just want to say one more thing about health is that if you're a woman and if you're like in your 40s and approaching like mid 40s, go get your hormones checked. Go get the extensive, lab blood work.
Yep.
I just got it done, and this week, like I'm like crying in my results with my new nurse practitioner, because I'm explaining to her how I feel, and she goes, yes, 100%. You should be feeling everything that you're telling me, because your blood work is showing things are off. Now, I went to my normal doctor and they saw the same blood work and they were like, oh, you're fine.
Because you're within the range of not dying.
Yes. And so like go get
we're
someone.
Not medical doctors.
Yeah, we're not. but it's like go get someone that is more on a functional basis, because I was even bringing up things to that doctor and I was saying, well, maybe I want to do this. And she was like, no, let's not do anything until we actually like see if we can correct the problem first. And I think that it's like, this is hopefully I'm on a path to feeling better.
Yeah.
And when I feel better, I'm going to be able to show up better. Right now, I'm not necessarily showing up as much as I want to be, because I wake up and I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm moody, I'm cranky, all the things. And so if you are, in that place, it's like, don't ignore like the professionals that we have at our fingertips nowadays with telehealth.
Yeah, no, that's really
that's
good.
my little plug, and that's not a paid sponsorship. That's
true.
That's just reality.
Do it, because it's only going to help you. And even if it comes out perfect and it's all good, that's great.
Yes,
that's absolutely good, because now you have information
and build on it.
Yeah.
And stay on top of your blood work so that you can start seeing the things that are changing, because what's going on physically in your body changes you with your like mental and emotional state.
Totally.
Like I know for me, especially in the last couple months, like there has been something going on to where it's like I'm not able to like overcome stress and like the emotional weight of things like I used to be able to. That was my first clue that I knew that something was going on. And so let's talk a little bit about like that emotional and like mental health. And, I would say to our listeners, like if you're struggling in that area, again, if you're a woman, go get checked up. Even if you're a man, go get checked up. But check your hormones, check all the things that it's like are necessary for you to be feeling good. And don't ignore the thought that it's like maybe like seeing a therapist, might be helpful. Get in your devos. What are some things that you personally do for like your own emotional and mental health?
Well, so my personality is very internal, right? So I do a lot of I have difficulty processing stuff sometimes because I don't want to kind of deal with it. I just I kind of move on, kind of for my own sanity. But when I'm in a place of being intentional about digging into maybe a hurt or a past a feeling or emotion, I've been I have these momentary times of just being depressed and you don't really know why. And I'd say in the last year or so, I've been trying to pay more attention to why is it that I feel like this right now?
Mm.
And going through the process of asking our question that we always ask is why? Why is it that I feel like that? And then going down the sometimes rabbit hole of the whys, because every time I answer that question, then it's then why that? But then why that? And then why that? And one of the things you've already mentioned is therapy. We've gone to therapy recently and found a therapist that we really really like, and I understand therapy is expensive. So I think that's the hard part for therapy, but building that into your budget and being able to talk through the way that you feel, the way that you see things in a safe environment. Please hear us, do not underestimate the power of expressing what you truly feel out into the world in a safe environment, and how healing that can be. And it even exposes, I know we've both had this experience before, to where we're in a safe environment, we feel good about talking, and then and once we say the thing, even in saying it, you hear yourself say it and you go, well, that's not right. Or you go, wow, that I just hit that point on. And having a normal therapy program or something that you go to, I think is super helpful. But you said something earlier when we were talking about the physical health and how connected it was to your mental health.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to bring that up again, because it is so connected together that it affects. And if you don't know that, if you don't understand that what you could be feeling and you don't even know it, is that you don't physically feel well. And maybe that's your normal. Your normal is you don't physically feel well. And now it's completely and totally focused your mental capacity, limited your mental capacity, and now you're working on this lack and not addressing it. Sometimes, depending on the type of relationship that you have with your spouse, deep levels of conversation, I don't know that I fully thought that out. Because I'm thinking of our relationship. You and I can have pretty significantly deep conversations because we feel safe. That may not be the case for every relationship.
Right.
Where finding somebody in therapy, finding a therapist, or a friend or a person that listens well
and can handle your junk
and can handle the junk, exactly. But we just can't overemphasize the reality of not ignoring mental and emotional health and the steps that you need to take to exercise those things. I'm paying attention to what you're listening to. What are you taking in, right? What are you taking in? I remember I'm a true crime junkie, and I remember it was 6, 7, 8 months ago. I wasn't just in a good, and you're like, well, all you listen to and all you consume is just death
and murder
and all the things, and you don't even, well, same thing with reality TV.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
You get so, all of a sudden it's changing your mental health because what you're taking in isn't helping you. It's just filling space and everything like that. So thinking of those things too is very important.
And that's where I think that taking that honest assessment of where you personally are at
Yeah.
with your emotional and like mental health, and saying, okay, what is going on and what am I consuming? What am I constantly taking in? What are the things that I'm listening to? What are even the company that I keep? You know,
That's a
are
great
are
point.
my friends encouraging me to overcome, or are they, you know, encouraging me to, yeah, you're right. They are awful.
Oh yeah, get them.
Yeah. And it's like, and there's a time and a place for that, like place of where your friends can just kind of be there and listen and be like, oh yeah, that does completely suck. And yeah, that is awful. But then there's also a time and place where it's like your friends like should be able to feel safe calling you out and calling you up.
That's
and
good.
and I think that it's like that is also another area that it's like we can keep our emotional and mental like health like strengthened, you know, because the reality is that it's like if we're not keeping our mental and like our mental and uh thought life healthy, it's going to spill out.
Yeah.
And
Every time.
it's
in
gonna
tone,
it
in
exactly
all the things.
you're going to be more resentful towards people that you wouldn't normally be resentful for or towards. You're going to be not showing up in the best way at work. You're going to get an email and you're going to want to pop off and be snarky at a coworker just for no reason.
I feel like you're talking to me.
You're not my coworker. Actually, technically you are.
Yeah.
But, you know, like those types of areas, you know, we just have to be mindful of keeping short accounts on our own self, on our mental and emotional well-being. And it's like, and if you're not like, you know, assessing that, you know, maybe now is a good time. It's 2026. It's 2026. It's a new year. It's like maybe this is your year to kind of take more of paying more of attention to those types of things. And then it's like also like what is your thought life and your prayer life and
Yes.
like your
Yes.
spiritual life? What like how are the things that it's like you're consuming and taking in, how is that affecting your relationship with, you know, creation, with the Lord,
Yeah.
with God? You know, we all have a spiritual component to us, whether you believe in God or not. Like we're faith-based. We believe in God. We believe in Jesus.
We do.
And that's a huge component to our life, but everyone believes in something.
Yeah, I do.
And if you say that you don't believe in anything, that is your belief. And so
That's a great point.
so it's like everyone has a spiritual component to them. And it's like, what are you doing to nurture that side? You know, one of the pillars of health is like your spirituality.
It is. Yeah.
And how in tune are you with, you know, because I'm even going to kind of go back to, and this might sound a little bit woo-woo-y, but it's like, are we grounding to the earth? So it's like, take off your shoes and go stand in the grass.
Yep.
There is like
It's a real thing.
like scientific evidence that doing that connects us to creation, which then in my eyes, I believe that then connects us to the creator. And there's energy that we can absorb from the earth and from creation. It's like, that's why it's like going out and adventuring and being out in the woods, going on a hike, going to the desert.
That's why it feels different.
It feels enriching. And because there's energy that comes through creation. And I just think that there's like a huge spiritual component to that. And I know that sounds really woo-woo-y, but
No.
I think that that's also like, you can see how all of these things are like intertwined with each other on physical, emotional, and spiritual.
All of
It's
it.
Crazy.
And one of the things on the spiritual side is spiritual health is in a relationship is a shared direction.
Yes. So
not
good.
the same discipline, right? So we are just together on a spiritual journey that
Mm-hmm.
we're going in, and health doesn't look like your walk is the same as mine. And if you're not there or I'm not there, then we're off. That's not spiritual health. Spiritual
Mm-hmm.
health is we're all, you and me together, are going in a direction that is going to enrich our spiritual wellness. That's winning. That's health. Because spiritual wholeness is never fully arrived at. It's
Mm-hmm.
always progressing. It's always moving. It's always morphing into something more, because we are coming from a faith background. Our belief, we will never arrive until we meet Jesus face to face.
Right.
That's the truth. And so, but becoming more and more like the original version of who he designed us to be, that's our journey. That's our discovery.
Mm-hmm.
That's the treasure hunt. That's the exciting part. That's the treasure hunt of spiritual health, is going out and finding who we truly are in God, and then becoming who that person is. That's the exciting part. And when you're doing it with your spouse and you have the grace and compassion for each other on each other's journey, you are in a healthy space.
Yeah. The interesting part about the spiritual component when we're talking about health is how they are so intertwined. So if I'm not feeling physically good, so if I'm not getting my sleep, and if I had a horrible night's sleep, I'm not necessarily going to wake up and have a strong prayer and devotional life unless like I really choose to overcome.
Great point.
If I'm feeling emotionally like taxed and just drained from life, I'm not going to be showing up in my spiritual life. So they're all kind of intertwined. But then it's like, if we go the reverse, if we're showing up in spite of everything and we're having a strong spiritual life, a lot of the other things become easier. And I think that a lot of the times when it comes to our spiritual health, we're waiting to feel right. We're waiting for our stress to die down, or we do the emergency prayers of just like, Lord, just fix this, get me out of this. And it's like, what we're not doing is we're not necessarily trusting the Lord with what we are going through in that moment, and trusting him in our physical and emotional like health. We're just waiting for the spiritual to kind of just come naturally. And it's like sometimes we have to put more effort into one area or the other in order for the other ones to kind of catch up.
Because it spills over both ways.
Yes.
Like that's the reality of the connection.
They're all spilling over into each other. And that's where we have to look at health in this holistic way of these three kind of coming into unison. You can't have true health with one severely being depleted or non-existent.
It can't happen.
It can't.
Yeah. No,
and if you have evidence that it can, please comment and challenge us on that, because I would love to know that I'm wrong.
Because you walked it through. If you're intentionally not taking care of yourself, like with intention, you're destroying your body, there's no way that you're going 100% on the other two. Then your emotional, you purposely just fill your mind with absolute garbage. You fill yourself with hate and all that kind of stuff. There's no way that then the other two are thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that, and then the spiritual. Oh yeah, that's 1,000,000,000,000% true. There's not a person that can deny that.
Yeah.
We're staking our claim on that right now. Bam. We're anchored in
completely
Yeah.
believe it's true. And I do think that when we are kind of in a season of where it's like maybe our physical and emotional health is being challenged, I think also we don't need to have like our spiritual life be so exuberant that it's like we put now that pressure on us. It could be just simple, quick prayers throughout the day.
Absolutely.
It could be just like because I'm in this right now. Like I'm so physically and emotionally taxed right now that I actually don't feel like I can show up how I normally do in my spiritual life. But what I've started doing this week is I'm listening to enriching podcasts during my work. If I all of a sudden I feel really overwhelmed, I just put my headphones in and I'm listening to worship music. I'm turning off the reality TV. I'm
That's
just
good.
soaking myself
So good.
in spiritual things, even if it's not this, 30, 40, 50-minute devotional that's just like this really amazing thing. Now, when I will eventually come back to that place of where I have the emotional capacity to be able to do those moments, and I'm yearning for it. I can't wait to have that moment again. But for right now, I know that what I can do is I can put on the Abide app and I can just have scripture being spoken over me.
Yep.
I can listen to worship music. I can posture myself in a place of just like, okay, Lord, like I just need you to get me through my next meeting. I just need you to be present in my client's life. I need you to like soften my response in this email. And it's like, those are the moments that it's like, I am showing up in a spiritual way to be able to enrich that aspect of my life when I'm feeling so depleted in all the others.
I'd say in every health pillar, physical, we'll say emotional and mental, and then spiritual. Growth in those, health in those is incremental.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're hearing us today and you're thinking about those three things and you are finding yourself in a deficit of any one of those pillars, hear us clearly. Small steps
Mm-hmm.
are the key to winning.
Exactly.
Small steps. So okay, sure. Do you want to lose 45 pounds in 3 days? Sure. But what if instead of concentrating on that goal, maybe you just concentrate on, this is what I'm going to work into. I'm going to work at, I'm not going to have candy. I'm going to have less candy today. Or on the emotional side, I'm only going to watch this much of this particular program or listen or put something in. I'm going to listen or watch this particular program this week. On the spiritual side, maybe it's a short prayer today, or maybe it's a scripture. All of those are making progress, and you are on your way. And even if you slip back, you're one decision. We always say that you're one decision away of going in the right direction. And it's not an overhaul. It's not a, makeover. It's nothing like that. It's simply adding or subtracting from your life to progress you into health, because it's not, get away from balance. It's not trying to find a balance. It's integrating all of those together and making small steps for a successful, healthy, emotional, physical, and spiritual life.
Yeah, we don't need to overhaul everything. All we have to do is make those small steps.
Mm-hmm.
And as we care for ourselves, we're caring for our marriage, we're caring for each other, we're caring for our families, we're caring for our job. It's like these areas do spill out into everything that we're doing. And we're not asking for perfection.
Nope.
We're just saying, hey, I'm willing, I'm open, I'm here, and I'm showing up the best that I can. And so it's like, I think that it's like, we can't ignore how health and all of these aspects of health really do impact our marriage. And, just don't think that you can control and, manipulate your spouse into being healthier. Just show up for yourself and make steps for you in these moments. We're not here to judge each other's spirituality. We're not here to judge each other's emotional well-being. We're here to champion each other towards a better version of ourselves.
Three things as couples hear this and maybe they want to walk in and get together and kind of partner. Three things: pace, comparison, and judgment. Those three things are going to come up as you are going to be a part of this. Pace is you're going to be going at different paces on this journey to health.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. It's supposed to be like that. You're not supposed to be doing it the same because you're not the same people. You're not going to be at the same place. And wherever you are is a starting point. That being compared to somebody else is not a thing. Comparison is natural to the human psyche. You will compare. Our encouragement is that you slowly begin to dismantle comparison, because it is robbing you. We say that all the time. Comparison is robbing you. So if you're comparing with other couples, other spouses, other relationships, other marriages on where they are and what they're doing, one, you don't have the whole story, so don't waste your time.
Yeah.
The other is comparison is never going to get you anywhere healthy. So you're taking steps back. But I want to speak it because it will happen. So just be aware. When it does happen, just begin to become curious and not compare. And then judgment. Judgment is, well, I'll go back to three. Curiosity is the antidote to judgment, is understanding even your own spouse's journey on where they've been. And even if they, in your eyes, you think they took a step back because they did something that they said maybe last week they weren't going to do, the way to encourage is to believe in them, is to believe in your spouse, and staying curious on that aspect is only going to help your journey in the pursuit of health in all of those three pillars of your being.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a great way to kind of like wrap up the episode of just like, making sure that it's like you're keeping your own pace. You're not being, critical and judgmental, and, just stay curious and, be open to new possibilities and be open to just encouraging your spouse into the best version of themselves.
Can I read a quote?
Yes, of course.
But you always end with a quote.
No, I don't.
You don't have one?
I don't have one.
Oh, that's good.
I know. I should bring that back.
Yeah, I loved it. I was always ready for it, and so I was prepared for it. Here we go. A healthy marriage isn't two perfect people. It's two people choosing wholeness together.
I love that.
So I thought that was great.
It is great.
Here, you read it, so it's better.
No.
No, okay.
All right, you guys. Well, thanks again for joining us. And, comment below if there's like an area that like really stood out to you that you feel that you can be, more intentional about in 2026. And remember, like, health isn't all about like losing the weight and, working harder in the gym. It's really about looking at this from a holistical point of view. So definitely stay tuned for our next episode where we're really taking the Enneagram and we're integrating the Enneagram into all of these health pillars.
How do those types look at the same type of idea?
Yeah.
Right?
It's going to be so good. So stay tuned for that.
Yep.
And then we also have some exciting things coming up. We have a marriage Enneagram assessment that's going to be launching soon.
Yep.
And we have an Enneagram mini course that we're also going to be putting out. And we just have a lot of exciting things coming up. And so definitely go to our website, sign up for our newsletter, because that's also launching. And we also, again, we have our 2026 worksheet as a free resource. We have our blogs. You guys,
come on.
If you don't have a good marriage by the end of 2026, it's because you haven't been listening and you haven't been doing all the resources
That's going to be the hook. That's going to be the hook that we're going to start the episode with right there. Oh, that's amazing.
I love it. So definitely stay tuned for our next Enneagram focused episode. We love you guys. And thanks again. Comment, share, like, all the things.
See you next time.